As I said, this is the webinar to just review the 2025 Para-National Team selection procedures. What we're going to go over tonight, just an overview of the procedures. We're going to just outline very briefly selection camp and trials, quick review of classification and important dates for the season, and then we'll hold question and answers at the end. Selection procedures, you will find very similar language for the para-national team selections as the senior open national team selections, which are also posted on the USRowing website. And the goal of these procedures is to just make sure that we are selecting and preparing the fastest boats that we can to represent the United States in international competition, specifically for these procedures to select the crews that would participate in the World Rowing Championships 2025. So just as the seniors national team does, the para-national team is selected via one of two methods. The first method is via selection camp. The events that will be run via selection camp are the PR3 mixed 4 and the PR3 mixed double. That camp is going to be held in Boston, Massachusetts, 3-week period in July 6th to 27th, 2025. Pretty exciting. We've got our center is based in Boston, so we've got our full complement of physical therapists, boat repair, biomechanics, coaching, and even our development squad will be there for a good portion of the summer. So Boston is going to be a great place to select the team for this year, the first year of the quad, and we're super excited to have that camp be in Boston. The other method that we use to select crews for the national team is via trials. The trials will be held at the same time as the senior and Olympic events trials. They'll be in August 1st through 3rd, 2025, and that'll be in West Windsor, New Jersey, typical venue for speed oars, etc. A point to make out right here is if you're wondering why only the PR2 mixed double and the PR1 singles will be contested at this trials. Currently, World Rowing is considering dropping the non-Paralympic events from the World Championships program. That would be the PR2 men's and women's singles and the PR3 men's or women's pairs. So if World Rowing changes course and does include them in the 2025 program, those events would also be added to these selection procedures and they would be contested via trials at the same time. Again, as with the senior team, all para-national team standards will have a time standard that will have to be met in order to attend and participate at the World Rowing Championships. These time standards are posted in the selection procedures document themselves, but I highlight them here just to make sure everyone understands that these standards will be applied regardless of whether the crew is selected via the trials or selection camp. All boats would have to meet the 95% threshold of CST, competitive standard, in order to participate at the World Rowing Championships. The compilation of these time standards is based on a number of factors, including world best times, average of winning crews, the spread of the top 6 crews in the A final. And we have a fairly robust system here. I feel that the standards are very good. They're difficult to meet, but that's what we want to send very competitive crews. And I think this is a very robust set of time standards that will be applied, as I said, for the camp boats as well as the trials crews. Classification. We get a lot of questions about classification. It can be an onerous process, but the main reason for fairness and to make sure we are selecting athletes that are indeed eligible to participate in their respective events is that the athletes must be classified in order to participate in trials or the selection camp. New athletes must request classification and submit all required documentation 45 days prior to the start of your intended event. That would mean 45 days prior to either the selection camp or the trials. We have a number of opportunities for athletes to get classified this year in 2025. I'm really excited about that. The first opportunity to get classified for any racing that you might want to do as a new para rower this year will be at the USRowing Indoor National Championships. There will be 3 hosts that are going to offer, host sites that will offer classification: Tacoma, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. And the deadline for that to be classified to compete in that event will be December 16th, which is Monday. So if you're planning to race in a para event at the indoor championships and are trying to get classified, you have until Monday to submit your paperwork. But the good news is that classification, once it's through and confirmed within the US system, that classification would also be good for trials or selection camp. So the earlier you can get a classification event in, the better that will be in case any questions come up, and you would for sure know your eligibility far in advance of the trials or the selection camp. Just some important dates. These are in addition to the dates that are in the selection procedures. There will be a speed order that includes para events. That speed order will include small boats that are not part of the Paralympic program. So there'll be PR3 pairs and PR2 singles. The main reason being that this is an internal event. It's used to judge speed early on in the season. So we will use those as a way to evaluate athletes in that winter speed order, and we'll have a full complement of the small boats. They're just singles and doubles, but it will include the PR3 pairs as well. April 1st is the deadline to submit 2K and 6K erg scores. Now, most programs will be doing regular 6K and 2K testing much earlier than that, so you don't need to wait until April 1st to submit those scores. You can go ahead and submit them. There's a form on the site, USRowing website, where Meet Team USA, Race for Team USA. You can also update your scores in your member profile in USRowing. May 23rd would be that last deadline. That's a 45-day advance of the PR3 selection camp in July. And there is a typo here on the next date, but we'll fix that for the actual slides that will go up on USRowing website later. June 17th is the classification request deadline for the para trials event. That would be that August event. And last but not least, the important date of 2025, the World Rowing Championships in Shanghai, China, September 21 through 28. So it's a late World Championships, and it's going to be an exciting one. The first year of the quad, we're really looking forward to having some strong crews there after selection through trials and the camp. So I blew through those slides pretty quickly. I don't know if we have any questions right now that have been submitted. I will use this extra time to have a short plug for athletes who are interested in just kind of learning more about the process. You're not sure you may want to try out this year, or maybe you just want to know a little bit more about it. On Monday, December 16th at 7 p.m., there's also a Paralympic athlete meetup. So that'll be much less formal than a slide presentation. It's going to be athlete led. Myself and PR3 coach Tom Siddall will be leading that. And that's just a chance for you to get to know some of the athletes, ask some of them questions yourself, and just kind of get to know what it really is like to try out for the team, what the squad is like, what the expectations are. And that's pretty exciting coming up. We've got about 30 people registered for that already. So if you're listening tonight or listening to this recording a little bit later, please feel free to join that webinar on Monday evening as well. I'm going to just stop there briefly. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for the moment. Great. I don't see any questions in the Q&A. I don't see any comments in the chat. So again, you get a good balance of your evening back this evening. We will close the recording of the webinar. You are free to ask questions at any time, and really look forward to seeing you out at some of our events in 2025.